everybody. This is the first time I have ever gone live. This is more of an experiment than anything else. Am I supposed to chat, type in here? I mean, what's the difference in um, so, hello, viewers. How are y'all? Like I said, this is just an experiment, to be honest with you. I don't really know what I'm doing. This is the first time I have ever clicked on this and ever tried to do anything. Uh, I don't. I see the little number up there beside the counter where it looks like people. It looks like people. Is that what it is? It's working. Hey, cool. I see you, John. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't exactly know what. Hey, Isaac. I don't know what Franklin I would actually do in a live thing. But I mean, because if y'all, I'm not sure if y'all watch the channel or not. I don't know how this works. If it only goes out to my subscribers or if y'all the only one seeing it or what, I don't know. Talk about it. Oh, okay. So y'all are up. Thank you, Malao3, because I had no cool subbed or recommended videos. Cool. Well, I have got today the first Theros deck. To where are we gaming tomorrow? Here in this room, Danny. We're gaming tomorrow. Actually, hey, dude, Danny, maybe we could. Maybe that's something we could live stream tomorrow. Danny, you'll be here, so if we do a live stream tomorrow, then I'll have to click the NSFW. But something amazing happened today, though. I don't know why I did it. I watch Magic Mike's. I have not missed an episode for like 5 years, and I have. I generally listen to it on podcast form because I live an hour away from home. Live an hour away from work, so I listen to it on the way to work. Got to work. I'd finished it up. Popped out to my phone on a smoke break, and why I hit the show notes, I have no idea. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? On Magic Mike's, it's got Evan Irwin, Ruben Bressler, Aaron Campbell. They do like a news style show every Wednesday night. And I was just going through their show notes because they always refer to them, in the show. They put links and stories and stuff like that. But they do it live, but it's up on YouTube. And it's like the nightly news, but it's once a week, and it's just the news that's happened in Magic, regardless of what format or about the game or pros or whatever. It's got a huge following. It's like a news show with the three of them. And I made the show notes. The channel made the show notes. It just, I was scrolling through there and said, Cure for the Common Gamer, just 4K. I screenshotted that shit because, but anyway, Evan Irwin has been making Magic videos for, I think he was one of the first ones, like, I want to say 14 years ago, 13, 14 years ago. He would just show up to random Grand Prix and stuff with a camera because nobody was doing it. But this is what he does now. But anyway, third Gruul deck for the Seder Legend. Hey, Johnny. I have built, actually, let's see. Today was the first Theros video. It was Heliod. I have got 6 more already recorded lined up behind it, and I've got 3 more here. I think 6 more. I've got 534, which is Euphemia, upside down. 535 is Arasta, and 536 is Daxos. I got the full 6 Daxos. So I got those done. Marcus, cheers from Canada, because I'm Canada, even though I was born in Tennessee. Thank you, Christopher. I try to brew a little differently, just different stuff, just ordinarily Thursday nights my son goes to karate, but today there was some kind of big karate brouhaha far away, and Sensei went off to that, so there was no karate tonight. So although picking up 2 boxes tomorrow. Awesome, Danny. It's hard keeping up because I'm trying to talk into the camera and then I'm reading all the messages. Can I move the chat over to this side? No. Y'all forgive me. This is a learning experience here. I am legit learning how to do all of this as we go. You know what they say, the best way to learn is to do. What am I doing? I'm tearing shit up. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Oh man, that light in the back is that's it's no bueno. I see why I had it over here. But because I've got this fluorescent lighting all the way up across. I've got the one that you can see back there unplugged, and the one right above the desk here unplugged. When we play here, we will I'll have all of them going, but when I do the deck videos right here, I can't have that light on because of the glare on the cards and the way the angle of the light is. I need to get thank you, Loaf of Bread. Thank you very much. Pete, I thank you for coming to watch. I'm just, as I said, this is just something kind of random. I've spent the last hour on the Discord channel trying to go live on Discord so that I could go live, talk to the patrons, whatever. But I couldn't figure it out. I downloaded some stuff and I did it once, with Phil Shivham and Olivia when I did that interview. But I'll be honest with you, I was kind of, walked through it. Here, do this, do this, do this. So, by the way, Phil is amazing. Phil DeLuca from the Commander podcast. But trying to get up, broaden my horizons a little bit, learn how to, YouTube's got this live thing now, so learn how to go live just to, I don't know, I might live brew someday, who knows, or, cast art. What's the best website to use to post EDH decks on having issues with? I started off using Tapped Out a while back, but Archidekt is what I'm using now. I have got over a couple hundred decks on Archidekt. Everything I've done since deck number 411, everything since 411, I've used Archidekt. I love Archidekt. It is it's absolutely wonderful. Everything I've wanted to do in a deck building website is there. I don't really build decks that way because what I tend to say is I've been talking and I missed out on a whole bunch of chat. They're like, Discord, it's the best tactile, what issues? Great deck text. Thank you, Syphil 6. What does this line prove? Yes. Because typically how it works with our play group. By the way, Danny in the chat here, he's one of a local play group. I've noticed how it works a lot is a lot of times me and Danny will go mano a mano, and then somebody else at the table will win because we've been beating each other up. So I'll have to get the camera back over the top. I've got various different camera mounts because I've been trying to get ready for this for a while to record some video of actual gameplay. But I've done a couple times for the patrons, like I said, but going live, why not? But the problem is, I wonder, because the problem is, see, the game table is way over. I mean, there's no way I would be able to see. I'm sitting here playing. There's no way I can't read the text. So maybe I can. I wonder if I can watch and join on my phone. That way I will have the ability over there to keep up with the chat and stuff. So I wonder if I just like randomly join the so yeah. Oh, here, let's turn the volume off so we don't get like that crazy echo deal. Yeah. Okay, so if I'm over here, now granted the camera would be up shooting the table. Yeah, we're in Jackson, Tennessee. That's a lot of people don't know where Jackson is. It is there's a road that goes from Memphis to Nashville. Those are the two big cities. And over on this side, we're kind of in the middle. It goes up and over. We're kind of in the middle. They call Jackson the hub city because it's halfway in between ish. Hey, Cliff. So, yeah, I can do that on my phone, so that'll be awesome. I'll have to be sure and charge the phone, and I'm actually, let's see, have it on your phone. Yes, definitely use Architect. Architect actually tied in with EDH Rec. To where you can get EDH Rec suggestions on there. So I'm told. As I said, I don't build decks that way. I build decks, not lists. Kind of a thing I've always said, because I build decks out of what I've got. You know. Skeleton Tribal. The problem with Skeleton Tribal, Pete, is that the commander is Skittles, and as soon as somebody sees a flying infect commander, they come after you. Even, I mean, even though it's tribal skeletons, it don't take too many hits from a 4-power infect that flies to get noticed. It is my niece, KK Bonds, that just joined us. She is my niece. Quick question. What's your favorite card of all time? Does it have to be good, just your favorite? My default answer to that is Jump. I have, in this room, I think I have pushing 10,000 jumps. There's a long story behind Jump. I did a video on it about, 3 years ago, Danny? Something. But jump, it's probably a 5-10 minute story. Do you care about hearing the jump story again? Maybe it was a while back. Took place in about 95. Let's see. Favorite card of all time just has to be good. Just favorite. It's Jump, by the way. Morphon. Okay. The Morphon deck was crabs, by the way. That way, when you sit down with the Morphon deck, they're like, what is it? And you go, I've got crabs. Anyway. Okay. The jump story. I had been playing Magic. I was taught by a guy that I worked with in a grocery store up in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And we had played, store closed at like midnight, and we would play at Hardee's, because they were open 24 hours. Played. So I've been playing about like 6 months, right? So I know everything, okay? By the way, nobody knew everything back then. I mean, we didn't. And I started teaching another buddy of mine how to play. He happened to be my immediate supervisor. Great guy. Still in contact with him every once in a while, even though it's been well over 20 years. So we were back in the break room playing. And he was playing the deck that he called Air Traffic Control. It was like a blue and green deck. And I tried to explain to him that was terrible, that they were enemy colors and there wasn't no support for it, which there wasn't at the time, beyond just original dual lands. So he had played. Now, like I said, we didn't know everything. This was our interpretation of the way the rules worked at the time. They don't work that way now. Heck, they may not have worked that way then. But I had black wall of shadows, the wall that can't take damage from combat. Can't take damage from creatures. 0/1, 0/1 wall. I think it's Wall of Shadows, if I'm not mistaken. Can't take damage from creatures in combat. So he had a Force of Nature, and he's paying upkeep on this Force of Nature. We are both hellbent. There's no cards in our hand. We're top deck mode, drawing lands. And at the time, the 8/8 Force of Nature trample, that 0/1 wall would absorb all 8 damage from it. That was our understanding anyway. As a matter of fact, it didn't. That's not the way it worked, but that's the way we believed it worked. Both of us believed it worked that way. So that 0/1 wall would absorb all 8 trample damage. It just sounds weird saying it now. Learning curve. So it's weird. Draw, and he draws a card and his eyes light up, and he jumps the Force of Nature, swings with it, kills me. And because he was playing like Rajan Spirit to take away flying and then jumps to give flying, and it was weird. And I explained to him, his name is John. I was like, all right, look, John, jump is a terrible card. And he looks at me and he says, but I just won with it. Well, you're not wrong. So, jump is one of the most low valued cards there is. So I started collecting is the wrong word. Hoarding. I started hoarding jumps so I wouldn't have to face it again. And so there in Cape, I bought all the jumps from the local card shop in Cape at that time. That was, years ago, 25 now. And then I went to Sykeston and bought them. And I just started accruing all of these jumps. Danny in the chat has, he travels a lot. He goes to other states and stuff. He's brought me back some alpha beta jumps. Cool. Thank you, Danny. I think I have every printing of Jump. Revised was the first one printed in several different languages. So I know I have Sprung. Sprung is it French? Is it German? I've got French, German, It came back in M10, so there's new art. Several versions of those, foil, non-foil, autographed, non-autographed. I mean, yeah, it's how many jumps do I have? I want to say there's 10,000 plus. Over the years, I have destroyed a bunch. I used that for years as my calling card. Like if I go to somebody's house in the days before cell phones, I go to somebody's house and they wasn't there, I'd leave a jump like wedged in the door or up underneath their windshield wipers or something. And I did that to John. He's like, "Hey, I'm getting free jumps back," and I was like, "Crap!" So I would like make a little tear in it. I went through the Warhammer Fantasy phase, and I built at one point in time an entire table full of terrain out of jumps. Houses, rivers, walls, everything out of jumps, shredded them for little palm tree looking things. But I still have. Now I do think I actually have a couple jumps in decks scattered throughout the wall. I want to say I did a version of this air traffic control deck that John had. Of course, back then it was all 60 card. That's all we knew. I do sign jumps. In addition to, I have got the. I'll show you this. I couldn't find a good EDH life pad, so as it turns out, one of my buddies works at a printing press. So, what I did was I drew this up on Excel and. Aloha. So here you put the player name and then like Danny is playing Dromoka. Okay, he would never play Dromoka. That's white and green. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? And how much commander damage you've taken from them, obviously how much poison you have, your commander. That way, if you want to keep track of how you did the game or who beat you or what commander beat you. So when someone signs up for Patreon, I jam several of these in the envelope and I'll autograph a jump for them. So I do autograph jumps, send them out. Air traffic control was because he controlled who had flying and who didn't. You would take flying away or you would grant flying. Did you ever go to the new Infinity deck you talked about while making what? Carrie, I don't. Did you ever do the new Infinity deck? What Infinity deck, sweetie? I don't. It's been a while. I've built a lot of decks since then. As a matter of fact, yesterday I built those three. I finished building those three, and I recorded those. I don't know. Y'all want to hear the upcoming lineup? That's the boy Oxy. What's up, Oxy? Okay, the lineup. Let's see. Hold on, I gotta go. Okay, so y'all saw today. You saw Heliod the Sun Crown right at 529. 530 is Gallia the Endless Dance. She's the Satyr tribal, and that's what it is. It's Satyr tribal. 531 is Renata Called to Hunt. That's the mono green demigod with the power devotion, which is sick because once you get that power up, you get enough green enchantments out there. Her power gets. You want it to be 7. Actually, you want it to be 11 because 7 is 3 hits, 11 is 2 hits, and then ultimately, I mean, if you give her double strike or something. But anyway. Caliph or Calife, whatever, however, Beloved the Sea God, she's also the same way. She's got power. She's the blue demigod. And then 533 is Siona. So those are all coming out a deck a day. I'm gonna try to do what I can to release a deck a day. 2020 is totally the year of Commander. They're not lying. I thought that they were just, we're gonna have, the 4 Commander items that they left us, they described to us. I didn't realize that even the standard legal sets, we got 29 legends, 27 legends in this set. That's crazy. Yeah, Satyr Tribal will need a revisit in about 3 years. Okay, check that out. May want to say today. Love how Chad's really going hard when he's out of range. Yeah, I didn't know if y'all could hear me. Yeah, a lot of these, it's hard to believe that I haven't built. Like the deck right before Heliod was Heartless Hitotsugu, and I'm like, surely I've no, I haven't. Satyr Lord predicts. Yeah. We probably will get to more satyrs, but so far, I mean, like there's been a random one here and there, but so far, I noticed while building the satyr deck, they've mostly been clustered in the 4 Theros sets that we've got. So, cool. You can hear me. Awesome. Oh, I got something cool. A Marrow deck. Oh, you mean like the Morrow? You ever start to build a deck and then forget you? Yes. Oh my gosh. I didn't start listing decks on a website till I was in like the 200s. And so I didn't really have a record of the deck besides it just being up here on the wall. Or actually, this room has grown in size quite a bit since I started. I was about at 150, 200 decks when this was built. It was a very tiny portion of this room, but and Linden got good, by the way. Heliod. Oh, anyway, but and I started building this deck, and I was like, man, this seems familiar because I'd read the commander, and it put me down an obvious build path, and I was like, this feels really, really familiar, and sure enough, it. I had already built the dang deck, and that's why it was so familiar. And I'd had a lot of people ask for deck lists, on websites, and that's when I found Tapped Out. Tapped Out didn't do everything I wanted it to do. That's why I moved to Architect. I moved to Architect at the same time that EDH Rec did. I've loved those guys. They're all great. The EDH Rec cast, those are great guys. I chat with them quite a bit, and they are kind enough to let me write articles. I say write articles. It's not really an article per se, because they have real writers. I'm not a writer, but the community content section of EDH Rec, they, most content creators do like 1 video a week. Well, at the rate that I do videos, it would just dominate their feed and nobody else would be seen. So what we talked about was doing like an article with several videos together. And I started doing like, every 10 decks, I would just list 10. And I'll admit I kind of fell off that train. And then I did one for like set, like I did all 19 Eldring decks. And I'm working on an article right now to where I won't be linking into YouTube. I'll be linking into Architect. And the article I'm writing is the first 100 decks, because I've got the first 100 decks listed through Architect. And so it'll be the actual list. Deck number 1, Atraxa. Deck number 2, Barktooth Warbeard. Gitrog Monster. And out beside it, it'll have the link to the deck list. Because I've been asking, or had a lot of people ask, do you have a list? Do you have a list anywhere? This is going to be that list. However, each one of these is just going to be 100 decks because it is taking me forever to copy those links. You're talking about 100 links in this article, and I'm having to open the 100 different pages, copy the link, and copy it, and I'm having to, I don't know, do 5 or 10, and it gets so slow, and I have to shut it down. Same thing, shut it down, open it up, back up again. I've been rambling. I have missed a lot of chat. Infinite Deck. Hey, you need. The sleeve question. I am only using Ultra Pro sleeves, deck boxes, pages, stuff like that. Because to be honest with you, I'm trying to earn an Ultra Pro sponsorship. Just quite frankly, to be honest with you, because my number one expense is sleeves and deck boxes. It really is. So if I could get any kind of help out with that, I would love it. But I do, as far as weird sleeves go, I've got the it's not, is it unhinged? The unhinged land sleeves, the basic ones. And I've started putting out the single color commanders and just that sleeve and all the rest of the deck in the purple. I use a different color sleeve for the commander because I'm dumb and I will shuffle that joker into the deck every time. But I also use the triple sleeve on the commander. It's the only card in the deck. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say triple sleeve? Favorite commander to play, Azusa. Lost but Seeking. Love playing all the lands. Hey, Chris, I'm glad you made it. Awesome. Let's see. I'm trying to. RFP sponsorship. Was there? What did I miss about the sponsorship thing? Was that the rant? Oh! It's going so fast. Yeah, I like this guy. Here's my sponsor. Yeah. I currently the only sponsors I have are my 12 or 13, 12 patrons I have. Mr. Chris T that joined us is one of them. I can't express my gratitude enough to y'all for chatting, watching, just everything, and let's see. Main question. How do you know what cards to put in the deck? Generally, the commander speaks to me somehow. I mean, whether it's Ephemia here and I will read it and I'm like, okay, here's the build path I want to do. Now, I don't have every card committed to memory, but I've been playing for 25 years. And I haven't stopped. I mean, I've never sold off. I've never, I've seen a lot of players sell all their stuff, and then 3 or 4 years they come back and they're sad because they can't have those cards anymore because they've done skyrocketed or whatever. I've never done that. I've kind of always been the guy that bought those collections. For 2 years I did own a game shop, and I bought a lot of collections there. But it was. I just have my mind works in obscure Magic card interactions. That's just how I don't know. I mean, it's my brain just facilitates it, and I see a card and I just automatically think. By the way, do y'all know about Sacred Guide and Thassa's Oracle? Yeah, Sacred Guide is a Tempest rare. Now, you might find it in some common boxes because back in Tempest they didn't color code. We will meet again. But the Sacred Guide, you sacrifice it and you mill till you hit another white card. Well, that's the only white card in your deck, and you just mill your whole deck out and you play Thassa's Oracle, and boom, instant win. Let's see. am so behind. Let's see. Okay, what's the main white tribe anyway? All right. Each color has two main tribes. There is an iconic and a characteristic. White's iconic is angels, and the characteristic, I believe, is soldier. They tried pushing cleric a long time, but it's not cleric. They realized that wasn't going to work because it just doesn't win games. Yeah, angels is definitely the top end. Persistent Petitioner deck, I am in the process of building one, but I've only got like 13 Persistent Petitioners, so it's not enough. I'm using that weird thing, to where you discard 2 cards with the same name to draw 4. That's how I'm running Persistent Petitioners. I love that guy. And it's something that you don't really use in Commander because you don't have 2 non-land cards with the same name. Shalai, I built Shalai. Why not less than 100 decks per article? How about 50 or 25? Yeah, that's totally doable. RIP sponsorship comment. So that's where I'm. 2 lazy to even double. Yeah. Decorative oversleeve. Yeah. 3 sleeves. It's the same thing with our commanders. The same reason. That moves so fast. There's one of me. There's 28 of y'all. Hirobi. Yes. I learned what the term jank meant by just having this channel. I didn't know what it meant before then, but yeah, it's obscure card interactions with cards you've never heard of. That's what I love. CEDH decks. I have some. I don't know that I have anything that would be technically considered CEDH. Azusa is pretty tuned. It's not going to like win on turn 2 or 3. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I have some decks with some very high powered cards in them. Heck, my most expensive deck's probably one of the worst because I was like, I'm going to jam all these masterpieces into one deck. Yeah, tribal masterpiece. Oh, thank you. I as far as me a true inspiration, I love this game. I love this format. I think I may have played the first Commander game in this town. That's another story. I have 25 years worth of Magic stories, so quite a bit. Mardu Angels with Kalia. See, I have Kalia. She's in a box. Okay. All these deck boxes right here are decks that I have started but not finished. That's what the ones down here are. Those are in various forms of, like some of those have been down there. I've been working on for a couple years. Like Axelrod Gunnarsson is all song titles and song artists, song titles, album titles, all musical, because he's totally playing the air guitar, right? Adric Spymaster of Trest is Tribal Rings. Pointing to, I don't have a ring anymore, do I? But it's all rings in the art or whatever. You'd be surprised how many of the Lorwyn Block Elves wore jewelry. Let's see. Transformation, speaking faster, blink ability. Yeah, that's right. Are you doing a deck for all Theros Beyond? Yes, I'm doing a deck for every legendary creature that exists. That's legal. The Black Braids, obviously not legal, so I'm not going to build that. For Fellows, I'm crying because I can't build that one. Because I want all the decks to be legal, ready to play, legal out of the box. That's why I love Silver Border. I'm going to say yes if anybody wants to play Silver Border. I love it, but I don't have any Silver Border here because I want them all to be legal. So yes, Martin Angels, hashtag Inspired Jank. Yes. You think Atraxa is very tuned? See, I've been thinking about tuning down Atraxa. All right. So here's my thought. I'm still going to have Atraxa Super Friends, right? But I kind of want to make it Atraxa Not So Super Friends and just use Planeswalkers out of Planeswalker decks. Because nobody would ever do that. Do you have a P.O. box or something? I'd send some extra budget stables once I'm done sorting. Oh, thank you. I do have my work address, which I'm there more than not. I think I showed that in one of the videos, don't I, Chris? 1955 St. John, Dyersburg, Tennessee, 38024. Most expensive deck is Kefnet, only because I think I have 28 masterpieces in there. That's why. Not that it's very good. I mean, most of them are counter spells, and Danny always seems to be the one to roll that deck, and he's like, I can't read all these cards. They're written in Egyptian. I'm like, no, you just got to, it. And most of them, if you can make out Force of Will, you know what it does. Let's see. I started playing, let's see. Okay. Destiny was born in January of 93. Jackson was born December of 93. And then we left Tennessee and moved to, because I was born in Dyersburg. We left Dyersburg and moved to Cape Girardeau in 94. That would have been, it was spring. The Lion King was out. The Lion King had just hit theaters. Because I remember taking Jack C. Lion King, even though he was only just a couple months old. And he was glued to the whole thing for like a 5-month-old kid. That was weird. And so it would have been the end of that year because I had met Don Schneep. He's a doctor now. He was in college at the time, and he taught me how to play. So it would have been the end of 94. Yeah. Played with some of the judges who made the format back when I lived in Maryland. The first one, Trevo. Yeah. Praxitalia deck, Jareth. The wall is huge. To give this some perspective, I don't have my tape measure handy. I had my tape measure handy. Each one of these blocks here are 10 decks tall and 10 decks wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full ones. And I have started the 6th one. Now, I built this specifically because it would hold I measured 10 rows high, 10 rows wide, because I figured on 900 by the time I got done, but it's looking more like 1,000 by the time I actually get caught up, which is fine. There's 6 across the top, 5 here, because I'm kind of using this one here up underneath as to anchor all my stuff to. I know my desk is terrible. I've got all kinds of junk. And oh wow, so my son's watching the stream and he just produces a tape measure. So these are almost each one of these blocks is like 31 inches. So you can imagine there's 6 of them long. Thank you, Bill.
Welcome.
Hey. So, yeah, it's quite a bit. So that's not quite 3 foot. What is that? 36, 9, 12. 15. Yeah, it's a long wall. It's a big one. Let's see. You triple sleeve your commander. What do you use for the 3rd sleeve? Yes, I will show you an example on Ephemia right here. All right, get static clean. All right. So we have got, let me unsleeve these. This is, boom, down here. This is raw magic card, right? So we put the raw magic card in a profit upside down, right? Because that way when you put it into the actual sleeve, the actual deck protector, right side up, if somebody spills a drink or something, it won't get to the card. It's just about impossible. So I double sleeve all the rares, mythics, foils, full art lands, damn near everything. Okay, I double sleeve quite a bit. Regular old run of the mill basic lands like this, I'm not going to double sleeve. I know if you, tournament rules, you're supposed to do none or all. It's not like I'm playing in tournaments. You know what I'm saying? EDH is a casual game. And then to protect me from myself, I use these. Now, this is the only product I use that's not Ultra Pro. These are, I want to say KMC. I'm not sure. I had to import these from across the pond. I like that little scrolling effect. You can get it in gold. You can get it in silver. There's some that you can get with like little emoji stuff on it, whatever. And then that goes upside down as well. And that, the reason why I like that is because the only thing I triple sleeve are the commanders, and it makes them look special. You know, everybody knows looking across, oh, that's commander damage. Yeah. So that's what that is. Let's see. Triple sleeve. Did I miss any before that? The walls, use a top loader. Oh man, if I have a deck idea, is there a way to get your input on a deck tech? Hit me up on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Cure_game. I am actually very, very active on Twitter, but I don't typically. It's hard. Like Chris said, become a patron, join the Discord. That's where we have just like group built decks there or brainstorm decks. And then, cause I feel like I need to be on Discord more cause, but I try to every chance I can. Let's see. What's the best deck I've played? Well, probably not one of mine. I don't know. I mean, I've had fun casting, just doing crazy stuff, and I just love the format. The first video of yours I think I saw was Piana Captain Nomad. Yeah, everything starts with a P. I actually have all 5 of those built up here. Let's see. Plains is white. That's Piana. Every card in the deck starts with letter P. I had to use those letters because the basic land starts with that letter. What's blue? Blue is Island Ixodor. That's a terrible, terrible deck. All cards start with the letter I. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's bad. That's what you call losing the die rolls when you when you roll that one. White, blue, black. Black is Season, the flying guy where you draw 2 and lose 2. Everybody does. That one's strong because there's a lot of cards with letter S in black. Red, M, Mounted, Meosion of Infinite Rage. And green would be Frail Ice because at the time that was it for F green generals. Let's see. Yeah, Danny saw the first one. That was bad. The very first video I did, it was on a laptop, and I didn't have I was using the laptop camera, and so I had to angle the laptop. It was on this very desk, just back that way, about 15 feet, and the whole place was just tiny, and the video quality was so bad. I thought about taking it down, but I was like, no, you know what, roots. That's where we began. And I say we because I'm not doing this alone. It's all of y'all. Everybody has. Everybody's helped. Sending me cards, watching, subscribing. It's not me. One person can't do this. It takes a village, Let's see. yeah, Danny Chris is here, and my son's here, one of the many sons. Hey, Dill. Uh, you ever do things showing upgrades? Now, before Wizards got so hardcore into here's legends, more and more legends, more and more legends. I was kind of doing like every once in a while when they would come out with a whole bunch of stuff that actually hit on one deck, and I would need to upgrade the deck. I would do an upgrade video. Like I think there are 3 Atraxa videos. Atraxa through the years, it's like every year I get in the mood to rebuild the Atraxa or whatever. But she's always been Super Friends. Yeah, 15 foot 6 inches seems about right. I actually did when I went from the old magic room to the huge magic room. So this used to be a garage years ago, but I did the teardown of that one and construction of this one. I did kind of live updates to the EDH Rec Discord. So all the EDH Rec guys, because they were wanting to see, because it was so cramped back there in the other one, the whole place wasn't any more than 3 foot wide, and 2 foot of that was taken up with a desk. So I had to actually get in the chair and slide in. I couldn't turn. It was tiny. Least favorite commander out of Theros? Man, it's the Boros one. And it's not because the Boros problem, all right? Because I love Boros, but the thing about it is, though, is that you sit down to build that deck, and you're like, all right, he's a 6/1, so we got like a permanent ball lightning. It's got protection from a bunch of stuff. Yeah, cool, except for a very specific CMC. Well, with a 6 power commander for 4 mana, you're like, I'm getting in there. I'm going to get a commander damage, but I can't equip anything to it. I can't enchant it. I can't giant growth it. I can't nothing because you literally. I mean, you can build your decks of 2, 3s, and 4s pump ups, but then you don't know what is going to what's going to roll, and you're never going to be able to use 1-drop, so you use others. I mean, right now the current build as it sits, I haven't finished it yet. The current build as it sits is yeah, it's a Haktos deck, but honestly it's a feather deck. or Boros multicolor creatures, and there's a lot of targeted stuff in there, but tell the sideways story. Oh, the sideways story is yes, people will look at you crazy. How many people have I taught? There's no way to count. I work in the grocery business. Have been for longer than I've been a Magic player. And after work, I spent I was up at the card shop in Cape Girardeau a lot. So the owner there he said, do you mind if you just like teach people how to play the game? I taught hundreds and hundreds of people there. Everybody in my family, I think I've taught. Can I be the village? No, Danny, you're not the village idiot. Okay, do you want to hear the sideways story? Pre-releases. Pre-releases are one of my favorite things to do. My favorite way to play Magic doesn't exist anymore, because back in the day, there was no spoiler season. This was before the internet took over. I say that as I'm talking to y'all through the internet, right? But you would go to a pre-release blind. All you knew is this set's called Tempest. We're going to go and play it. So there was an opponent that I played in. What pre-release was that? Was that Invasion? It may have been Invasion. May have been Tempest. back then, pre-releases, you got like one a state or one in a geographic region, and around here it was like either Memphis or Nashville. But I played against this opponent, and he would, man, he got in my head. I'm telling you, got in my head. Because when he would declare attacks, he would tap his creatures. He would say, this guy and this guy and this guy. Hold on. I got to make sure I'm far enough back. These guys will go sideways. And he every time he attacked, he would do that. And it threw me off. And I know it's like a poker player winking at you or something. You know, you're not supposed to be tilted. But I got tilted. It was super weird. And yeah, every single time through the entire match, it was insane. Casual tribe decks to play with friends. I have built 3. It's kind of different. I've built 3 cubes over the time. I built an all common cube, I built an all uncommon cube, and I built an artifact themed cube. And I pretty much gave up on those because I had to have those cards for decks, you know. But now I am actively building a cube of cards I will never need for EDH decks. This is what I'm calling the BNR cube. It is all cards in there that are banned in some format or another, banned or restricted. It will be an anti-cube, like you'll draft, and through the tournament as you play, every game will play for anti. All those cards are banned, so they're in. I'm trying not to use a whole bunch of silver border. I'm going to try to get as much actual ban cards as possible. Those playtest cards would be perfect for it. Maybe the price will come down on those. Or the closest GP that's coming is Memphis, but that's like the weekend before Thanksgiving, right? So we got a while before we get one. For the Boros Theros Ledger, Anthems is good because there's a lot of white Anthems. That may be the thing that I need to do. Ability share, I like that. Righteous Cause, maybe like Odric stuff, junk. Okay, funny theme decks. I have deck number 2 is Tribal Beards. I have done Tribal Blondes. It's me. Okay. I have, let's see, Tribal Beards, Tribal Blondes. I have done quite a few of them, but right now, when I look up at the wall, I'm just seeing like names of the decks. Deck number 100, the Sliver Queen, not a sliver deck. It's the original Weatherlight story deck. It's got all of those characters in it. It's a terrible deck because it's built on theme and not, every creature in there is legendary, but I don't have the podium in there because it's not in that story. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very story driven, story specific. There's a bunch of like really weird decks. I love that stuff. That's what I do. Ladies Looking Left, I'm probably never going to do because that's a popular weird deck. A lot of people have that. Okay, maybe not a lot, but I know of like 3 or 4 out there in the world. So, well, distracting, but yes, I have a bear deck, and yes, it's deceptively good because the commander's 2, and you just, it gets overlooked, and you get out there so quick, and the fighting and the biting and it's ability share, concerted effort, Grand Arbiter. Grand Arbiter using superstition because they're all advisors. Yeah, so you can tap your commander as one of the advisors. That's cool. Take it easy, Chris. Glad you could come. Thank you very much. Tribal. I'm doing tribal. Mistform Ultimus. So all of the cards that add to the blue tribes in there, but it is mono blue. So, sticky notes. Okay, I will explain the sticky notes. Okay, here I have two lines of sticky notes. Just kind of position the camera to see. All right, right here is where I started listing decks on Archidekt. So all of those are on Archidekt. And then I said, well, in my spare time, I'm going to start here at the very beginning and come across and list all of these. So this is my line of those decks are listed on Archidekt. So you can see all the decks in the middle are not listed on Archidekt. The beautiful part about Archidekt is you can go there and just look for me, Cure for the Common Game, and you can see all my deck lists that I've entered. But there again, I've got 300 decks that I haven't got in there yet. So in my spare time, this Post-it line eventually moves over. Now these spotty ones, those are decks that I have upgraded. And, something happened, something came out, and I upgraded them. And while I had them out, upgrading it, I just, I'll go ahead and list them on Archidekt. So those are the spotty ones that I've done. Tribal Angels, Mimeoplasm, Sliver Overlord, and Brago. So as I go across, they will all... It takes me, 20, 30 minutes, depending on what lands I used. Obviously, if I'm doing monocolor deck, it doesn't take as long because I'm using more basic lands. So I don't have to enter in, 30 duels or what have you. Changeling Tribal is fun. Do you have a link to the site you told me earlier? You got to help me out with what site that was. Archidekt is, I think, the only one that I know that I spoke of. Checking the Angels build. Thanks for calling one out. Has the deck wall ever fallen? No. Technically, we do live on a fault line, but there has not been a major earthquake on this fault line since I guess the last major one was several hundred years ago when the Reelfoot Lake, the New Madrid Fault opened up and the Mississippi River flowed backwards, and Reelfoot Lake, there's a whole story about it. The reason why they call it Reelfoot Lake is because there was I'm not a history guy, and I know that story because it's taught to every Tennessee school child. But it's a really stable house. Obviously, you can tell that's brick behind it that it's all mounted to. I built this myself, just like the shelves back there for the binders. I built that. Those jokers are on 12-inch centers. Built like you would lay a floor. Actually, you probably wouldn't do a floor at 12 centers. You'd do it at 16. But I needed shelving that would hold amount of weight, constant weight. And you couldn't buy anything that's going to hold that amount of card weight, So that's why I'm kind of a hobby carpenter, I know just enough to be dangerous. Good night, Googlylicious. Love that name. I can only imagine how much pain it is to keep dust off all of them. Actually, they don't really accrue that much dust because if you think about it, how tightly packed they are, just the top ones, and I'm constantly like, you've heard me say a couple times tonight, rolling for decks. Do you want to see me rolling for decks? Where's my dice box at? I'll show you how I all right. what was it? I think I did a video on that, didn't I? I think y'all have already seen that. We'll do these three. What do you use as organizing tool? I don't know that I understand the question. I don't know if you can see behind me at those binders, but all of those are binders, and binder per set. Each pocket is individually numbered, and the cards are numbered by pocket. So I have to. It sounds a little OCD. It really does. But when you're talking a collection this large, I've got to know when I'm building a deck that, okay, I need to know that Herald of Leshrac is in Cold Snap, and it's going to be in the Cold Snap binder. If I own one, it's in the Cold Snap binder. I go to the Cold Snap binder. If I've got it, there it is. If not, I'll move on to something else. But if I had it in boxes, it would take me hours to find a single card, and as many cards as I'm putting it into sleeves in decks, that's just not. Actually, this was what facilitated this, because I started that years and years ago. I started that in Time Spiral. Time Spiral was the very first set that I was like, I'm just going to do a binder of just Time Spiral cards, because I had my trade binder and I had my boxes of cards. Like, I'm going to do one of just Time Spiral because it's a great set. I'm going to put them all in order, and it's going to, and it was so easy. It was so easy to find stuff. And so when Planar Chaos came out, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do it again. So I just, from that point on, I did it. And then I went backwards doing it that way. You need a voluntary. Yes. I could actually have, if I could afford it, I could employ an office manager, because there's still probably 3,000 or 4,000 cards that still need to be sorted up into the binders. And then like some of the deck labels are like clear, so you can't see them, all the ones in the 300 block. I could literally just hire a secretary to just, or enter deck list into Architect. But that would require some magic knowledge, because by looking at those, you would have to know, well, that's Symbol's Invasion or whatever. Well, dice. Yeah, I've got like as far as dice over the years, I've got just boxes of just the spin down D20s that we get from pre-releases and fat packs and whatever. Just I'll fill a box full and shelve it, or put it in. But yeah, a lot of dice. You just accrue it being a Magic player, and then when you've got kids, dibs on the secretary job. When you've got kids and they grow up, just birthdays and Father's Days and Christmas and stuff like that, and you get dice. But speaking of dice, how I normally do it is I'll roll. Like last week, I think when I did that video to take, I generally take about 10 decks when I go to somebody's house to play or go to a shop, because 10 decks fits in the box easily with the trade binder, the token binder. I always carry some of the life pads with me. Just the random stuff. And what I did was I rolled dice for 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for the first 5 blocks. So you roll a dice, and then you roll the second D10 as to the column number. Say 5, I'm there. Then you roll the third D10, and that's the deck number, because the bottom of all these are all ones. 91, 101, 111, 130, 150, They're all ones, and that makes all the top zeros. So 1 through 10. That way, it's just. Oh wow, are we like 70 minutes in? I have just been like rambling. By the way, for y'all that just who have recently joined, the KK Bonds in the chat is my niece. It's my big sister's baby girl. She's also a Magic player, and it's been a while since she's played. But to be honest with you, she's pretty cutthroat. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, any other random questions? Because oh, it's 8 o'clock. So I have. All right. I'll admit I'm somewhat old. We're going to talk about TV here for a little bit. Somewhat old. I remember when I'm going to be vague here at the start. Just follow me, okay? In the 80s, I loved the show. I did. And about 2 or 3 days ago, I saw that there's on Netflix a remake of it. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it. Well, it's animated, and the animation style is different. And I looked at it, and I went, that's not She-Ra. And yeah, I'm watching She-Ra, okay? The story writing is better than it was in the 80s, but the new style of animation, because back then it was more along the animation style of like G.I. Joe, where a human had human proportions and stuff like that. But it's a lot more accentuated. So I don't know. I have never seen anything labeled anime. I don't know. This may be it, but the story writing is great. But it's She-Ra, Princess of Power, and I know that sounds like I am a 9-year-old girl, but I loved it back then. The story is good, and that's the only thing that keeps me there. I like the old animation style better. I guess it's what they say. What is the psychological phenomenon called? Rosy retrospect. It's when we remember everything from the past better. Like Ice Age. Ice Age. Everybody was like, oh man, Ice Age is such a good set. No, it wasn't. We thought it was because we were dying of thirst and they threw us a drink of water and it was bad water. Okay. Ice Age. I love snow. I would kill to have a good snow set, a good snow theme, but it's just not, they haven't done it yet. Cold snapped out a little bit. Modern Horizons MH1 was the best they've done yet, and that's not much. It wasn't even the whole set. Eventually, we're going to go to Kaldheim. Kaldheim is a frozen plane. Eventually, right? We got to go there someday. They've gone through the trouble of inventing the world, and they've told us it's a frozen wasteland, or not really wasteland, but it's a frozen world. So eventually we'll get snow done right. And I think if snow was done in today's design technology, it'd be awesome. We saw just a little bit of taste of that from MH1, and that was just a dribbling, and it was already better than everything else. But I don't know how I got off on snow covered. Oh yeah, Ice Age. Do you know the only way in Ice Age, if you look through those Ice Age cards, most of the snow covered cards penalized you for playing snow covered, and they didn't even put snow-covered lands in booster packs. The only way you could get them is in the starter decks, like the 75 card. And then you look at like 2 or 3. They were stupid rare. That's why they're so expensive. The Ice Age was so expensive because sounds like the Exodus TCG, Mom and Pop TCG, California based. Tennessee did frozen stuff better than Magic. Yeah. But yeah, well, I'm thinking about probably calling this to a close. this was an experiment, to be honest with you. This is my very first time doing a live stream, and I appreciate everybody for coming out and being super active. And thank you all so much for listening to an old guy ramble about a card game. I love the game. I love Commander. I love doing this. So thank you all so much for watching and supporting and subscribing and all that jazz. Thank you. It's for those of you that are not in content creation, I wasn't, I didn't really know what, for a while, I didn't really consider myself a content creator. I'm just this guy that talks about his decks, you know. But then last year I got nominated, and then I think I was nominated again this year. I don't know, the voting's still going on. Anyway, but I've never really considered myself that. And there's a lot of the people that I follow on Twitter and stuff are other content creators, the successful people, what I would consider, the really big ones, all of my, I guess, my content creator heroes, if you will, which is, I don't know, several hundred of them. But there's a phrase that it gets used a lot, that sometimes you feel like you're shouting into the void. It's if you're like putting stuff out there and nobody's listening. And to be honest with you, I've never experienced that because of you wonderful people. Y'all have watched and liked and shared and commented, and thank y'all so much. And it's very humbling to me. Like I said, I'm not doing this. We are doing this. It's all of us. It really takes all of us. So, oh, you're not spamming it. It was fun, and yeah, I will. I'd love to do more live streams. Maybe probably won't be on a Thursday, because normally Thursday nights I am committed. Because one thing that I wholeheartedly believe is family first, and I'm obligated on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. There's something that's a little more important than Magic cards. So it is time to shuffle and cut. Yeah. But I use that at the end of the deck videos. Whoa, procrastinating writing on homework due at midnight. That's 3.5 hours away. Yeah, you need to get on that. There's nothing more important than education. If not, you'll end up like me, working at a grocery store for all your life. No, I love it. I wouldn't still be doing it if I love it. I have a facility for it. So anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. I'm going to close it up now. Thank y'all so much for coming out, and y'all have a good night. Where's normally about this time, I would click mine over to the right, my stop recording button, but I'm not recording. So, oh, there it is, in stream. So have I got to do the thing? Do you want me to do the thing? Yeah, I think I got to do the thing. Have a good night, everybody. But right now, it is time to shuffle and cut. Yes. Oh, in. Okay. There's a